Today, guys, we're going to talk about the Chinese soul and the journey of the soul afterwards. We're looking at this, The Ultimate Guide to Yin Yang by me, Anthony Cummins, and we are actually going to be on page 290 and 291. Okay, so basically, what happens to your soul? Now, I'm speaking in English, so I'm just going to use the word soul. I know a lot of people who do Chinese culture will be like, but we're talking about the essence that is your form. So let's start. I'm going to go through this. I've got the book in my hand, but the image should be on the screen with you. So the Tao, at the beginning of the Tao, in the Tao, within the way, if you like, within also this idea of possibility and the abstract. Like an apple is not inside a tree, but an apple comes out of the tree, even though it's not inside it. In that place, whatever you want to call it, is the possibility of you coming to existence. Yin and yang move together and swirl, and they create yin and yang chi. In your ki in Japanese, or ki even in Chinese, but we say chi in English. And what happens is that swirling about mixture creates you as an individual. I was created, my father was created, my mother was created, you were created with your own mixture of yin and yang chi, okay? So that created you, and you go into human experience, okay? Now, this is where you've got a choice. If you follow the Tao and you absolutely go through it and you focus your mind and make sure you're on the right path. Loads of people say, I am walking the path, especially for my views out there. Path of the warrior, we're on the path of the warrior and all this, and like, I'm following it. The simple truth is everybody attempts, but nobody succeeds. The question is how much you succeed versus how much you attempt, and how much you actually observe where you are changing for the correct, and observe where you have made mistakes, instead of you just thinking you're doing it. So, and what you've got to do is follow the Tao, follow the way of the warrior, follow the way of the sage, follow the way of the master, and hopefully when you die, you will reach perfection and you will go back to the Tao and go out. It's almost like the same story as Nirvana with Buddhism. You are brought into the world, you go in and out until you get it right, then you off to Nirvana, you extinguish perfection, whatever you want to call it, and go down that discussion route. So if you, in Chinese Taoism, if you haven't perfected your soul and gone through it and achieved immortality through alchemy, but internal alchemy and all of this, then you become, now I'm going to say these in the English form, Hun and Po. Now, I've actually listened to them in Chinese and it's ridiculously different to the spelling, like totally different. I don't know how they got that spelling. But basically, Hun and Po for us. Now, Hun is an element of Yang. It's got the Yang Qi that's left with you, or the Yang Qi essence. That's another debate that I've got to have with the YouTube about Qi. Now, there's also the Po, which is the earthly Qi, what's left, or the essence of the earthly aspect of your soul. So if you've not made it to perfection, the Yang section ascends to heaven because Yang expands and rises, and the Po section condenses and goes to earth. This goes back to the Qi factory, if you like. Let's go, not the cheese factory or the cheesecake factory, the Qi factory. And Po drops into the earth, and it can go into a house of Yin, the ghostly tomb. It can wander the earth. It can be a force on the earth. It could be an evil force on the earth. It could be a mournful force on the earth. But it's very much the spooky ghost you get. Whether it has the form, the Qi itself goes into the earth and can hang around its grave or, you know, its old life for a while. Possibly the origin of ghosts. But eventually it dissipates, and back to the Qi it goes, and it all mixes in, and a new form comes out. Is it the same soul? Who knows? Some Buddhists argue that the same incarnation of you is not the same each time. I always struggle with this one. We'll do another video on that. But in essence, in simplicity, with understanding there's lots of offshoot arguments, we have the idea that from nothing, from possibility, from future possibility, like an apple comes out of a tree, yin and yang qi mix and create you. If you do not follow the way of the Tao correctly, when you die, when your qi is gone, the aspect of you that is yang returns to heaven. The aspect of you that is yin goes to the ground, becomes a ghosty type thing, a ghouly ghosty, and it goes into every Scooby-Doo cartoon ever. And then they eventually come back to chi, reform, and come back again. Or you've got it, you've worked it out perfection, and you move back with the Tao, and you go back to the Tao. We don't know where that is. It's beyond understanding. It's like nirvana. It is outside of human concepts. It is not, and this is the problem. When you're human and you're talking in a human language, is outside and inside, and you're like, this is outside of human concept, so but we don't even understand what that means. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Do get yourself a copy of Yin Yang. If you love samurai culture, you love Japanese culture, that's your fundamental building block. If you're a beginner in it, you should be reading this. If you're an experienced samurai enthusiast, shinobi guy, you should know this inside out. So make sure both of you get a copy, of course. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll speak to you next time.